So glad that you
Hello,
have them.
everybody. All right.
Hi, we're streaming live.
Yep, I'm going to come back in and get us officially started. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wow Wednesday. Here you go, like this. Wow.
Oh, I have too many fingers.
WOW. There you go.
Got it.
Anyway, feeling a little silly today. I actually picked that up when I was in Decatur, Georgia a few years ago, and a woman at a restaurant, I was like, it's Wow Wednesday. And she went, wow. I was like, I can do that. So cool. I am grateful to be here with you this morning because you know what? Any day that you wake up, wow, we're happy for that, aren't we? So be grateful today. We are so excited to have you with us today. I get to be with my best friend, my partner in creation. I won't say partner in crime because that was the old days. We don't talk about that much, but totally kidding. My partner in creation, co-founder of Women's Prosperity Network, the extraordinary, brilliant, and so heart-centered, passionate, revolutionary sister of mine, Trish Carr. Hi, Trish.
Hi, that's me you're talking about. That's wonderful. Thank you. What a nice introduction.
Yes, you are so many wonderful things to me in my life and to all of our community, as well as the way you impact family and all around. So thank you for being with us this morning.
My pleasure. I'm so excited. I always love to be on. Wow.
You're going to do that all the time now, right?
I know.
All right. So
Yeah.
let me mention, we're going to get started today with a topic designed to support you in, creating some expansive growth in your business, as well as making a bigger impact, a bigger positive impact. Because here's what we know. The women who are a part of our community, whether you're here in our Facebook group, and we trust that you're going to jump on over and claim your free member directory so that you can start interacting with each other even more. What we know for sure about the women that we have the privilege of serving is not only are you wanting to grow a business, you're wanting to grow a business that makes a positive impact in the lives of others. And we see that as that beautiful win-win scenario where you get to do what you love and have the money follow and be a part of a contribution to making the world a better place, whether it's in your small corner of the world or in this global economy and world that we now live in. So today we're going to have a conversation about tribe building. And we hear a lot of, pointers about, oh, you got to build a tribe and who's your tribe. And like the thing about a tribe, we take back and from Seth Godin, who wrote the book Tribes, as well as Purple Cow Marketing. I mean, Seth Godin is absolutely brilliant. Trish, you got to share the stage with him as well, right?
Yes, it was very fun. He's so brilliant. When he had like an hour on the stage, and he gets up to the stage and goes, okay, what questions do you have? And that's the whole time he was just fielding questions, talking to people. He was amazing and a brilliant marketer. Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. And so he has worked with many huge brands. He wrote the book called Tribes. If you have not read it, I encourage you to go ahead and purchase it. When we started Women's Prosperity Network in 2008, late 2007, that was one of the first books that we read, upon which we based really the model for growing our business. And Seth says that the people always, for centuries, since humankind was created, get together in groups. Like that's part of our nature is we love a sense of belonging, coming together, supporting each other. It's in our DNA. And he says, in order for a group to become a tribe, it needs to have two things. The first is a shared interest. There's some commonality in the group of people. So a shared interest, and then the second is a way to communicate. So we want to bring you all to that place where you're really focusing on your messaging, being able to attract the ones who are meant to be your best clients, your strategic partners. Your messaging needs to be ingrained with what my sister Trish loves to refer to as a rally cry. So Trish, take that on a little deeper for me.
Well, a rally cry is, what do you stand for? What is your clear, I'll use the term enemy. That's what the word he uses, but what is it that is the thing that you are fighting against, or the thing you are wanting to change? Is it the status quo? Is it inequality? Is it bad customer service? What is it that gets your fire burning about what you do? That's what's really important, is to get really clear on what you stand for. Is it a place where people come before profit? Is it a company that wants to wipe out financial insecurity? An organization that wants to make life just simple again? Like, what is it that your rallying cry is? And you've got to ask yourself, am I really clear on this bonfire inside of me that is making me, spurring me on to want to make the difference that I want to make? So it's getting close to the passion about what you do, not just what you do. And you want to help people. We all want to help people. But how is it we want to help people? What's the difference we want to make? What's the passion around what we do? And I have lots and lots of passion around what we do at Women's Prosperity Network. It's been my burning passion almost my whole life.
Well, what is that?
My whole life is that women are given the same opportunities as everyone, that women, just because we have children, have this, we get the same opportunities that everyone does. My whole life, I've seen women treated differently in the workforce, as well as in running their own small businesses. So I have been really involved in the women's movement, in the equal rights movement my entire life. And when I see that women bring in $1.3 trillion in small business money into this country, yet when I go to meetings and I still see women treated as secretaries, like, who's getting the coffee? The women. Right? It just drives me crazy. And I could go on, but I don't want to get on a soapbox about it. My passion is that we women not only want to crack that ceiling, but we want to shatter it forever. And I've been alive long enough now to see many, many inroads in that. I take away nothing from the amazing feats of women now who are really pushing the boundaries, who women you can see are making a difference. I mean, we have a vice president who's a female and Black at the same time. We have women working in football and baseball and basketball now.
Locker room with the men too.
Yes, in locker rooms with the men. And, women are finally being seen as legitimate business owners and contributors to corporations. And for a long time, that wasn't true. And now I'm starting to see it more and more and more and more. So my fire's been burning for a long time about it, and it's starting to thaw things out.
Yeah, I love the way you said that. And I want to take a step back, and this is for everyone listening in, whether you're live or on the replay. What is that passion? What soapbox are you standing on? It is that soapbox that you want to create lots of messaging around, so it's clear what your cause is, what the shared interest is. So I know that Christina is with us, and she actually went through this exercise with us through the Momentum Coaching Program. So Christina, if you're open to it in a moment, I'm going to have you unmute your lines, because I'd love to talk about this evolution of messaging that we went through that has allowed you to expand your passion project. So I'll check in with Christina in a moment. And I want to come back to, what is your soapbox? So what is it that you want to see this massive change in? Is it obesity? Is it pill pushing, in terms of only pharmaceutical being the go-to answer, and you want holistic remedies to be more at the forefront? Does it have to do with our dear friend Marty Ward, who wanted to see bullying eliminated, by building confidence or getting clean water? Like, when you share that messaging, and I'm even getting goosebumps as we talk about it now, when you share that messaging, the person who has that same thing burning in their heart is going to say, how can I help you? When you share that messaging, the person who is, struggling or suffering with the challenge that you're out to make a difference in will say, oh, can you help me? That's
Yes.
really the foundation of creating exponential growth in your business, as well as making a massive impact. You've got to get clear on that messaging.
Yes. And here's the thing, very distinct. This is really, really important. If you take nothing else from this conversation but this, the important issue is that the rallying cry has got to be something outside the person you're helping.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you are someone who wants nutrition to be treated differently, if you want the USDA to make sure that they're using the right pyramid for food, right? We all know the pyramid is not really healthy the way that we have it right now. And there are so many things nutritionally that are happening. It's challenging to get organic food because the prices are higher. It's challenging to shop farm to table because it's just a challenge. That what's in the grocery store is not necessarily the best thing for us to be eating. The enemy, if you will, is outside the person who's being affected by it. The enemy is the regulations. The enemy is the challenges that farmers have. The regulation is that for some reason, what we know about nutrition is not being translated to our leaders in government, and instead we're getting food that may not be nutritionally as valuable. But what can happen is, instead of focusing on the enemy without, we focus on the person who's having the challenge. We blame the person for not buying organic. We blame the person for not understanding that food is not what comes in the supermarket. So you can't say, I just want people to know that what they're eating isn't right. Well, that makes me wrong. That makes me wrong, the person you're trying to help.
Pause. I want everyone listening to really get this, because you're sharing your messages and perhaps you're couching it in this way, not realizing the subliminal impact that it's having. So if you're doing videos or Facebook posts and Instagram posts and you're like, why isn't it attracting the clients I want? If your post is causing people to say, oh, I know better, I should do better, they're, starting off a relationship by making someone feel not good is not the way to get that growth. When you can get to this next level messaging of really identifying, well, why is it that it's so challenging? It's challenging. Recognize that you finding organic food, it takes extra effort and you're already pressed for so much time. How about all the stress that we go under in this instant messenger world where constant demands on you? Oh, just meditate. Well, how are you supposed to meditate when your phone is ringing every 5 minutes? Because that's the way the media wants it to be, distracted. You see the difference in that mess. I got on a soapbox, didn't I?
Yeah, that's okay. But here's the thing. Number one, it has to be outside the person that you're doing your best to help, because it does subliminally make me feel bad, right? It makes me feel bad that it's my fault that I'm not buying the right food. It's my fault that when I look at a magazine, I compare myself and therefore my self-esteem is hurt, right? So your message could be, I want women to know that they don't have to feel bad about themselves, and all they have to do is these things. But the fact is, the reason I feel bad about myself is because I'm looking at Facebook and seeing everybody happy, because I'm looking at commercials on TV and all the women are a size 3, because I look at magazines and there's no way I can look at my face with the makeup these girls have. So the whole comparison social network that we have is causing us to feel less confident, less self-esteem, and less strong and powerful. So that's the outside forces causing what's happening for me. Now you can two ways to easily get at what it is that is your outside force that's making the difference, that's causing the problem, is to ask yourself one of two things. For me, it's what just gets me ticked off. For me, it's I can't believe that when I walk into a room of executives, 9 out of 10 of them are white men. Like that blows my mind that we still have social constructs that create a board of only men, right? Of only white people. So that's the outside, and it ticks me off. I get mad about it. Now, for some of you, mad is not your first place to go. For me, it's my first place to go. When I watch TV, I get mad. When I watch the news, I get mad. But for some of us, it's a different feeling. For some of us, it breaks my heart when I see women comparing themselves to other people and feeling less than as a result. So it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I have one of my clients, one of the things she does is she works for breastfeeding, to make breastfeeding a normal thing that can be done anywhere, of course, tactfully, gracefully, but anywhere. People shouldn't be looking at you like, oh, she's feeding the baby. Let's make it normal. And for her, she was the one who said to me, you know, it doesn't tick me off, Trish. It just breaks my heart that a woman with a baby who happens to be out in public right now doing the things she has to do, that she has to go and hide in a dirty bathroom to feed her baby, that it's not appropriate, that people look at her, that people even say things to her about it. It breaks my heart. So what breaks your heart? Or what ticks you off? What is that catalyst for your passion? And the more you can turn up your passion in either of those ways, breaking your heart or getting ticked off, the more you dial that up, the more people will want to be a part of your bonfire, because that's what you're doing, is you're building a bonfire that you're inviting people to, and they want to be a part of your tribe.
Yeah, perfect. And I want to address what Catherine said in the Facebook comments. She said it's weird to think about enemy, and I'm with you on that, Catherine. So, and that's where Trish just defined. So maybe it's not the enemy, but it breaks your heart to see. And you talked about low vibration of humanity. It breaks my heart.
Right.
Families torn apart because we haven't been taught how to listen to each other. It breaks my heart to see people struggling and suffering, trying to thinking that they have to do it all or put up these fronts that everything is perfect. And we haven't been given the tools to properly process our emotions on this roller coaster in life. We're taught how to pretend. We're not taught how to really live in the range of all of the things that we're here to experience. So you can think of it like that. And again, so the low vibration of humanity is the problem that you're seeking to solve. What's causing the low vibration? You got to go beyond it. What are and that's for all of us. Many
things. And Christina is the perfect person to talk about this, because one of my soapboxes is, unfortunately, and all of you mentioned Marty Ward. For me, what breaks my heart is that bullying, the way it goes on, and bullies turn into adults who bully, you know, and unfortunately, we live in a culture where violence in the home, domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, violence in the home is prevalent, and it's gotten even more prevalent in the last year with the pandemic. Now, the thing that ticks me off is that we know that there's an issue around domestic violence, and yet we don't properly train the professionals, that the people, the women, the children, the men who are assaulted, they're not properly trained to counsel those people so they can get out of those situations. Instead, most of the time, they just go, they get fixed up, and they go home and get beat up again. So educating those people is the thing that ticks me off, that it's not happening fast enough, that there aren't laws, that, how many times do you hear about a woman, unfortunately, knowing that somebody has been stalking her, and then she ends up dead because they can't do anything until the stalker does something against them. So with that, I know that is Christina Stewart's.
She's ready to share.
Soapbox. So yeah, so let's invite her in.
Oh, ladies. This exercise, when you introduced it in Momentum back in, I think it was March, around that time, the Supreme Court of Minnesota ruled that the rapist who was on trial couldn't be held responsible for raping the woman because she chose to drink before he did the act. And that really pissed me off. And
yeah,
I am not one to go to anger first. I'm one who doesn't really know how to deal with anger. So I've been learning and accepting that. And so this exercise really did help me clarify and get in tune with that bigger, broader message. And that experience, how I responded to that, learning about that case was like, you know what? Yeah, this does piss me off. And getting to what the messaging can be has really helped me, start building my tribe in a bigger, massive, world impacting way. And so, and I use it in my messaging on social media. I use it on in my talks when I'm guest speaking somewhere or keynote speaking somewhere. I used it, so my mission is to end sexual violence.
Yes,
and that's
yes.
Big mission, but this exercise is what helped me get there and own that. And as I've been continuing to do it, and we bring that messaging, this, the works back into Momentum, it's just helping me to reiterate it and strengthen it and find new ways of getting that message out. And I'm on a mission to eliminate the stigma that surrounds sexual trauma survivors. Like you said, Trish, a lot of times the victims are blamed.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly what's happening in the case of the Minnesota law.
Right.
Let's hold the victim accountable. You shouldn't put yourself in that situation. I don't hear anybody saying to teenage boys, don't go to parties where there might be drinking because you might get accused of rape.
Right.
That's like telling somebody, don't drive alone at night. Sorry, if you have to go somewhere, just wait until the morning because it's more dangerous at night. That's BS. So, yeah, holding the victim responsible for the crime is beyond understanding for me.
Yes. So thank you for helping me get to this messaging and clarify it for myself so that I can serve the people. Because I'm always one who's focusing on the positive. I'm focusing, I would say I'm on a mission to bring more love and healing into the world, which is true. But that's a more like flowery, everybody wants that, versus I'm going to end sexual violence.
That's right. And we're going to do that together, my friend.
Yes, we are. I love you, ladies. Thank you so much. I appreciate all that you do for me, with me, and through me, and everybody who you bring to the table. It's just, I love your work, and you both. And Susan too.
Thank you.
How yummy that she said that.
Yes.
for me, with me, and through me. And so thank you, Christina. And that last piece, through me, that you really summed up what our mission is. So we want to make a massive change and see women, seated at the table in equality, feeling great about themselves. Like, I want all humanity to feel that, for us to recognize that in each other. And our slice that we do here at Women's Prosperity Network is for women. And here's the thing. Each and every one of you that is here have a slightly different or similar mission. And if we get this, my friends, if we collectively are going to co-create the world we want to live in, we need to support each other. We need to work together. We need to come together and be that massive force for positive impact and change in the world. And it is through each and every one of us taking 100% responsibility, getting better and better in our messaging, cleaning and clearing our hearts, and knowing the work and the things we're here to do. That's our responsibility in it. By doing that and coming together, it will happen more quickly. We want to create exponential growth in all of the change you are seeking to make in the world, which is part of what we're here to do at Women's Prosperity Network. And on this path and discussion that we've been on about domestic violence, sexual assault, bullying, like all of the things that happen to human beings, which is just not right. We need more legislation. We need the stigma to be removed. Trish was telling me the other day that we grew up, we're sisters, in case those of you watching don't know, we grew up in the same house in Brooklyn, New York, that we grew up in a house with domestic violence. And I went, really? And then I started thinking back, and what impact did growing up in a home where my father would get very drunk and be violent and scream and yell at my mother, and we would have to lock my father out because the man was dangerous.
We had to lock my father out of the house.
And so how does that, in my formative years of a 3 to 5 year old, how does that impact my view of men? I think men are threatening. I thought men were harmful. So did I do a really good job of picking some lousy men? I sure did.
Right. Right. Some of them were a lot of fun, but they certainly weren't the marrying kind.
So we're on a mission to bring these conversations, to create more self-awareness and responsibility. And we're also on a mission to use money. It takes money, honey, right?
Yes.
So we have a very, very special membership drive that we're doing right now. So here's how it works. If you are not yet a member, what are you waiting for? You can join for free. So go to womensprosperityNetwork.com, join for free. When you join for free, we are partnering with a nonprofit called Futures Without Violence. When you join for free, no money exchange from you whatsoever, we're going to pay $1 to Futures Without Violence. For those of you who see the value of playing in our community at a higher level and you go for the gold membership, which is only $39, we're going to take that $39 from your gold membership and donate that first month to Futures Without Violence. And for those of you who are already members, this is the time to fan that flame of that bonfire and bring more women in to clarify their messages, to make a bigger impact. Like, our part is making sure you can have the impact that you want and giving you rewards for sharing the message. So as members, you just go to the website, go to the referrals tab, grab your link, spread the news. We're going to continue to raise money all throughout the month of August for Futures Without Violence. And every time you refer, you get prizes too. So we like win, 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 win scenarios.
Right.
So let's take action together and make these changes.
And everything is on the website. So I really do invite you, because, we're on a mission to uplift women. That's what we want. That's what all of us want. I know this community is generous, supportive, loving. Every single one of you who is part of Women's Prosperity Network wouldn't be here if that wasn't who you are. You speak with from the heart as well as the mind. And we're like-spirited, all of us. And we want the best for people. And when we bring people into this amazing community that you have created, we open the door, but you're the ones who help each other, support each other. Last night when we were, and yesterday afternoon, we have our monthly mastermind and mentoring, and it's where the community comes together and they support each other, answering questions and making suggestions for each other. And everybody on there was, give me a call. I can help you with that. Here's my phone number. Make sure you connect with me because I know it's somebody who can help you with that. Like, everyone is so supportive. And there are people out there who are living what look like normal lives, women in business, women in corporate, and children who are experiencing these things in their home. Let's bring them into our community, and let's bring more people into this community to make it even stronger, bigger, better, so that together, number one, we can collect a lot of money for Futures Without Violence, so that they can do that education and professionals, so that they can help at the grassroots, so they can change things in Washington. And number two, let's make this community so big that we are a driving force. Like, everybody knows AARP works towards senior issues. We want everybody to know that Women's Prosperity Network works towards issues that affect women and children. So the more of us there are, the more we're seen as a collective making a difference.
Yeah, a massive force for positive change. That's what
That's
this.
it.
Awesome. Yeah, so good. So go to womensprosperitynetwork.com. Go ahead, and in order to take part in the tracking of rewards, you do need to be a member. You can be a free member. So become a free member, and then you'll see the referrals tab, and you'll easily go ahead and get a link that will, track so that you can earn rewards, and then we can track and pay money to Futures Without Violence, intending that sometime this month we're going to have some people from that organization be with us, and we're going to talk about how the funds are going to be applied and the difference that we're going to make.
Yes, let me answer Deanna's question. She said, what's the best, easiest communication mode to refer people with the link? Facebook, email, phone call, text. Do you want to address that?
Yes, I thought I was. So
okay.
Reiterate.
Well, I know you said go to the website, but here's the cool thing. When you go to the website and you get your referral link, and below that we have buttons that say Facebook, Twitter, email, all that stuff. When you press the Facebook button, it takes your unique URL and opens up your Facebook, and all you have to do is put a message there. So Facebook's a great way. Texting your friends with one of those, hey, I love this organization, this community is amazing, and I know you'll love it too. Click here and become a member for free. And when you become a member for free, just so you know, the biggest thing is that you get a listing in the member directory so other people can find you, which is really great. So texting, and then do copy paste on your text. That's an easy thing to do. So, and Deanna, when you're talking to people just in general, it can be a part of your conversation. So any of those methods work. And we did our best to make it as easy as possible.
And this is Deanna's first time here, so welcome first of all.
Yay!
Let me mention to Deb, Nye, and the other people who are here on Zoom typing in the chat, make sure that you select everyone for who you want your message to go to if you want it shared. Otherwise, you would be just sharing with us, which either is great. So go ahead and switch that up. We're going to open for question and answer in just a few minutes. So if you'd like to share, post a question in the Facebook group, I'll answer those, or you can raise your hand if you're on the Zoom. And we'll go ahead and bring you live. I want to address, so people raise your hands or put questions in the chat. While we're doing that, I want to refer to Leah, who put a post on Facebook, and she said, as it relates to this messaging and the problem that you solve, ignorance, lack of knowledge, and awareness are always core to most issues. And I would agree with that. And now what I want you to do is go deeper. Why is there ignorance, lack of knowledge, and lack of awareness at the core of most issues? Because that could sound like I am not taking enough responsibility. That sounds like all on me, that it's my fault that I didn't get the knowledge, that I'm ignorant about it. It sounds like that's on me, that I don't have enough awareness. But let's go deeper, and this depends upon what your project is, or the thing that you're working on. Let's say let's use entrepreneurship, for example. There is so much information and misinformation online about how to actually start a business. And we could say that, yeah, there's plenty of information available. You can go ahead and do it. But I think part of the noise that happens in the marketplace is somehow linked to the fact that if we all become entrepreneurs, who are going to be the employees? Like, if you look at traditional school models, they're training us to be employees. Exactly. They don't want to make it easy for us to be entrepreneurs, because then who's going to work for them? Like, you see how I just switched it to another level? We always want to go to that next level place.
Well, and it's also the other thing that you can point to when it comes to, what was it, ignorance? What were the other things?
Lack of knowledge and awareness.
Okay, awareness, lack of knowledge, and ignorance. If you look at the messaging that we get through the media, through television, through movies, everything is watch Netflix and escape. Go to HBO Max and watch this movie. The entertainment, sports industries, they want to keep us distracted because they want us to buy their product. Mm-hmm. So everything is around making sure that you're a part of your team, or your football team, and all of that keeps you distracted. Meanwhile, the pace of change and the pace of education, that stuff is, nobody's selling that. Right? They're selling things on TV that make us be consumers and buy stuff and think that buying stuff is going to change our life and give us everything we need, when all it does is make us want even more and make us feel even less deserving, worthy. So there's a lot of things there, if you just look deeper, that you can say the cause of me having this ignorance is because there's not enough attention put on it in our society, right? Society and the construct of society has a lot of reasons why things aren't the way we think they should be, right? Mm-hmm. So look at what are the societal things that are happening that cause this ignorance and this misinformation. For me, I teach sales and sales communication. That's like my biggest thing. I love it. I love to show people how to influence and persuade people in an ethical way, in a way that leaves everybody feeling whole and good about the situation. So when I see speakers or people who are teaching sales techniques that are just go for the jugular and sell as many as you can, and buy the Yinsu knives now, they sound like an infomercial. It makes my blood boil. So for you, it might break your heart, but for me, it makes my blood boil. And that in and of itself is a reason for me to do what I do, because I want to be able to say that everyone who I work with comes from an integrous place, not from a place of more for me, right? So that's an outside influence burning my fire that burns others too when I share it.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and open up for questions and comments and discussion. Aurelia, would you be open to sharing? I see you've got some good stuff going on in the chat, and we'd love to bring you into the conversation. Can we go ahead and unmute you? Okay, let me find you on here, give you permission. There we go. You should be able to talk now. Aurelia, are you there?
I am. Good morning, lovely ladies.
Good morning, Aurelia. Nice to see you again. I just saw you 5 minutes ago, didn't I?
It seemed like it. A little bit late, but at any rate. So I wanted to share something, and this is not about putting blame on anyone. One of the things that we really can choose to be aware of is where we focus and how we use our words. Our words are powerful. I am are the two most powerful words on the planet. And when you follow those two words with anything negative, you are destroying your potency. And there's a difference between potency and power. Power is more like power over, and potency is that energy, that raw energy that you be that creates.
Let me ask you a question. I agree with you 1,000%, but I didn't always know that. When I was being raised as a child in this home where there was, lots of alcoholism and, some not so good stuff going on, I didn't know that. Nobody taught me that until I got into personal development, right? So when did you learn that? Did you always know this?
I want to share that I too grew up in a very abusive household and was bullied almost to the point of death. If I weren't such a, I'm going to say it, a potent mofo, I'd be dead. But there's no one that can knock me down but me. And no, I was not always aware.
Right. So here, just give me one quick second to just dial in on this, and then we'll expand. Sure. I was not always aware. So today's conversation is about how do you create messaging that will attract more people to get on the bandwagon with you. All we're saying here is making sure your messaging talks about the before you had the awareness, because you're in the place of 100% responsibility right now.
Right.
But the person who's not, the person who we might call a victim or stuck, they don't see that. They don't know that they can claim 100% responsibility.
Right.
You get so I agree with you wholeheartedly. When you're doing your messaging, we're inviting you to take it to a level before the person,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I want to mention that actually I have been aware that I am responsible for years, for at least 40, 50 years. Somewhere when I was a little girl and I was being picked on and I was being abused by my parents and I was being bullied in school, I was aware that somehow I was responsible. But I didn't fully embody that, which is another beautiful word, until recently. And I remember speaking to my minister and her telling me that certain things that I was experiencing, she never experienced. And somehow I knew that that was true, but I couldn't imagine it. But that's another very powerful word, but negates what you said previously. And that's something that she taught me. I heard Trish, and this is not to pick on you or anything. This is just to point out that I heard you go back into kind of blaming. Yes, the media is horrific. All they want to do is bully, lie, and control you and manipulate you. And that is a very strong word, and it is a very appropriate word. It is our choice to turn off the TV, to turn off all of these sources that are poisoning our very being, and to look all around us. Why don't people do it? Because, can I say, it's one hell of a responsibility to say, I went out to the store and somebody was rude to me, and I am responsible for that. And that and that's painful. And then you've got all of these other things happening, and for us to look at it and to think that the very people that we have elected to govern us are destroying our liberties, our health, our well-being, our mental health, are creating violence. It is too painful. So what do people do? They go into cognitive dissonance. How can we contribute to that? How can we change that?
I hear you. I hear you.
I think,
and I agree.
I think we can change it by using correct languaging. We are never to blame. We are never wrong. We are never at fault. We are responsible. And when you eliminate those other words and you look at this and you say, can I change this? What is it? How do I change this? Universe, goddess, God, divine of your understanding, guide me. And how can I share this message with others? I can tell you what I was before and what I am now. I can share those stories because nothing.
So Aurelia,
yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can go on and on.
I know, baby. You are.
No, and let me just say one thing about that. I absolutely agree with you that we all take, when you take personal responsibility, 100% responsibility for what's going on in your life changes.
Yes.
I can tell you though that I didn't even hear about that concept until I was in my 30s.
Which was,
And it wasn't
years
until
ago.
my mid 40s that I started getting into personal development.
Yes.
So if you wanted to attract me to your cause when I was in my 30s and 40s, I would not be attracted if you would tell me I just have to pick up my big girl panties, because
Okay,
I didn't get the concept.
I got it.
But
So
if you attracted me by saying, hey, these forces are causing things to happen for you that don't make your life good. These forces outside yourself, that it's not your fault that you're
Right.
under stress.
Right.
It's not your fault. And then you attract me and I become part of your tribe.
Right.
Now I love you, and now you can teach me about 100% responsibility.
Right.
But until then, I'm not going to listen to you.
I get
So what
it.
we're talking about is attracting people to your fire without giving them the feeling that they're at fault.
Right. And that's what I think the most important messaging would be. And I've done videos on this. It's not your fault, and you are responsible, because we
You got
are.
it, Aurelia. I'm gonna move on to our next caller in just a moment, and be mindful, because sometimes when you say it's your responsibility, it can cause me to feel guilty.
And that's an internal thing on you. That's never on me. But
I know, but it doesn't change behavior. It won't change behavior.
and we
Ever.
can't reach, I get it. And we can't reach everybody. I would love to, but we can't. We can't. I'm here for those people that are open to receive.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'd
And
love
if
to
you're
contribute to everyone, but it's not possible.
no, and truly, Aurelia, if your message is 100% responsibility, you will attract people. That could be your bonfire,
Uh-huh.
right? 100. Why don't people take 100% responsibility?
It's hard. You have to look
Exactly.
at
So what I'm
You
saying
wanna
is
do that.
your
Yeah.
rallying cry could be a rallying cry that would bring people in. Certainly the things that you were saying about, what's happening in our world, those are rallying cries. All
Right.
I'm saying is that when you have a rallying cry, it works best if you can help attract people, like I said, who are where they are, so
Right.
that you can take them to where you want them to go.
Right.
That's it.
Where they
That's the whole point of the conversation.
So how would you suggest someone like me do that, or other people do that are aware of the difference between responsibility and
Well, Aurelia, we're gonna you and
Yes.
I have a one-on-one schedule,
Yes.
so we'll talk about that, okay?
You can fix my wagon then.
No, your wagon's not broken. Your
I know,
wagon's
I'm
on
just-
the right trail. Your
I'm just-
wagon's on the right trail, Aurelia.
I
And
appreciate
we'll take it offline, but thank you so much. I really and truly appreciate your point of view, and I'm so
Thank
glad that we talked about this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. Beautiful. All right. And if you would like to share, ask a question, get some clarity on your messaging, or find out, how do you become a member? How do you earn rewards? How could you possibly, check this out, not only are we raising amazing money for Futures Without Violence, the person who refers the most people in the month of August is going to win an elite destination mastermind retreat. We rent a beautiful mansion, bring together a select group of people, and you spend 4.5 days being well fed, well taken care of, and going through several different processes to support you in growth, breakthroughs, and expansion to have a bigger impact and a greater income. So whoever refers the most people in the month of August, you win this elite retreat. So I'm so excited, Trish, too, because we haven't done a retreat since 2019, and I'm ready.
I know. Well, we lost a year there, Were you going to bring Deb on?
I asked Deb to raise her hand and if she would like to talk. So
Okay.
you
All
can unmute yourself. We'd love to have you share and talk. So you can unmute yourself, Deb, if you're ready to do so. And let me, yes, there's a link for referrals, Lorna. So log in to Women's Prosperity Network, do your login, and just go to the referrals tab. Everything is there for you. That's the first thing you want to do. There's easy links for you to go ahead and share. You're welcome, Lorna. And again, if you're listening right now and you're not even a free member, join for free. We're going to give $1 to futures and you can start earning rewards and points. So become a member. Then go ahead and get to the referrals tab, and we've got it all set up for you there so that to make it easy for you to share.
And I just put the link in the chat to make it simple.
Thank you.
Anybody who's on Zoom can go ahead and get the link in the chat.
Okay, and I'll put it on the Facebook. Deb Nye, are you with us?
She is, and she's unmuted.
I am with you. Hi, good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, along with Christina, I am very passionate about it too. Everything that you guys have said today is just hitting that chord inside me. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I have been through a journey and a half. And then here's the wonderful thing is I do feel like you're giving these situations in life to learn how to overcome and become stronger for the next mission, right? The next thing that we have to do. And I am on 100% on board with the charity. I love that. It brings tears to my eyes because wouldn't that be just perfect to have a world like that, right?
Yes.
I mean, I can imagine it. And that's part of it, imagining it. But when I was young, I was abused by my brother, who I just happen to be next door neighbors with now. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, it you can choose to live anywhere, right? But you guys in the group have really helped me, guided me to tools or given me tools. I've been on the journey of overcoming this my whole life, but I have done more work, I want to say, in the last 2 years that have removed those blocks. Not saying that they don't come up every once in a while. It's like a rubber band. It stretches back, right? But I have overcome more with your help and this organization and the people within it to be a better human. And in turn, then that helps us to help other people who have been through what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Because isn't that the way that it works? Like once you get up, you get in the lifeboat, you want to reach out and help somebody get in the lifeboat with you, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I want to thank you again for everything that you guys do.
Oh, my pleasure. And Aurelia wrote hallelujah in the chat. Hallelujah that the last couple of years have made a difference for you. Hallelujah that whatever you gleaned from us has made a difference for you. I mean, it's the journey, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
It's just
100%. And it's a beautiful journey. I'm not, there is no anger or blame or any of that anymore. I mean, there was for a minute.
Yeah. And we're going to have those emotions, I think. So Deb, thank you so much for sharing your truth and your experience and being someone who listened to that thing inside of you that said, this really sucks that this happened. Why? Like there's got to be a reason for this beyond just me.
Right.
And you've taken that, and I love that you're sharing this because all of us have had some not so good experiences, some really not good ones that we can look at and say, okay, how, where do I go from here? How can those things transformed us. Everything that happens to us has an energetic imprint, emotionally, physically, mentally, like that, the things that happen in our lives, the good ones and the not so good ones. So what's my next level of evolution to take my past and turn it into a present for me to grow to that next level? And you're doing it beautifully. So thank you for being part of our community. I love you.
Love you too. Thank you guys so much. But I figured if I, like maybe it could help just someone else join the group. Another thing that whoever's listening is I've been quietly stalking WPN for what, 8 years, maybe 9 years, right? It's been a long time. And
Yeah.
I've had value all along. It was just, jumping in the pond. And if I could encourage anybody to not wait, I would encourage you not to wait. Just do it.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thank
love.
you. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
All right.
We've been talking about how do you start a bonfire, and it's easy to start a bonfire when we're talking about these kinds of things, sexual abuse and violence in the home. But this kind of bonfire can be brought up for any industry. Let me give you an example, and the perfect example is Deborah Morrison, who is a financial planner. I don't know if that's the exact right words that she would
She's
call
a
herself.
financial coach, no
She's
longer.
a financial coach with 40 years experience in the financial world. And her rallying cry is, women, we have been put on the back burner. It was always the man who took care of the money. It was always the man who handled the stock market. It was always the man who, when you had a financial planner come to your house to talk about life insurance, stocks, who did they talk to? The husband. So her rallying cry is, women, it's time for us to pick up our big girl panties, because it's not our fault that we've been kept in the dark about money. But now that we know we've been kept in the dark, now let's go ahead and find out about it. So it goes right to Aurelia's point that says, it wasn't your fault to begin with. Come to my tribe. And now that you know, let's all build a bonfire and change this. So that's a perfect example of attracting people where they're at so that you can get them to what they need.
Let me go ahead and dovetail on that for one moment. Then I'm going to open up for our final caller. And so it's not your fault. Let me show you how you can gain control and take responsibility.
That's it.
That's all we need to do. So Aurelia, I think she might have had to leave. Hopefully she'll come back to it. So it's not your fault. Let me show you how you can take control. Because when we're in a situation where we think we have no control, that's the turning point.
Right.
So anyway, and let me go ahead and take our final caller today. And phone number 407-895. Your line is open.
Oh, thank you. This is Sherry, and I'm extremely grateful for you and all the ladies in the topic. You helped me realize an old thing, that I had when I worked in psychiatric, in healing arts. I was with children who had been in the streets, also adults, all kinds of different people in this unit, in their own unit. Some came out of jail, you name it. And I remember the passion that I felt about how much drugs they were giving these children, because in my life, I had been abused by drug users in my own family and outside and on and on and on. And I became Mrs. Holistic at a very young age. And anything I could do that would be non-drug, I would do it. And my drumming, my music, and even all that stuff, it was theirs. They hired me to do what I did. But I would always end up seeing women being held down by these very large security guards, and they would come to my group and they would say, I'm pregnant, and they made me take their drugs. And I would and the children, and I'm telling you, people in this country do not know what goes on behind those doors. I was so passionate. I swear to God, I used to go and if I could stand on my roof, I would have signs saying, get the hell out of it. You've got to go see what I just saw.
That's the passion. That's passion right there, Sherry. That's great, that passion.
Holy crap. Thank you. I'll stop right there. Because I don't
Nancy
wanna,
wanted to. Yeah, Nancy, what do you want to say?
So Sherry.
Well, I just want, you helped me. You helped me realize that the passion that I had back then, I was so over the top that it blew people away, and they go, oh, I got to get away from her. She won't stop. She's painting this picture that's crazy, and And so they didn't understand, and I didn't understand because I was just coming from my passion. I would go cry. I would go out in my
Right.
car and cry.
Right.
And I'd go, there's got to be a better way than this.
Well,
and then I
and you
went to
know,
the
Sherry,
psychiatrist and told him.
well, you know, Sherry, here's the thing. The thing about the passion is you've got to feel your passion. And then the next thing is, how do we
Yeah.
message the passion
Yes.
so
Yes,
that we
yes.
attract people rather than repel people, right? That's,
Yeah,
that's what you're talking about. So that's the
know.
next step. The next step is let's get your
Right.
message down in a way that people will be attracted to it, interested in it, and wanted to take action.
Right.
So that is the next
Right.
step, absolutely. And it goes
Thank
to
you.
Nancy's point of here's the challenge, here's what's happening. It's not your fault. Now let's do these things. Let me show you how you can take back
Yes.
control. So that's a really good point. And then you have to make sure your messaging matches your mission,
Right.
right?
Right.
That's the next
You know what,
thing.
So, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for what you do to bring peace and healing and love to so many lives. I appreciate you.
Thank you for being there, ladies.
Yes. Thank you, Sherry. Appreciate you being here.
And hey, Trish, you know what happened?
What?
We had a light bulb moment.
Oh,
Yeah, that she realized that passion she had so long ago is still there, and now maybe she toned it down because it was repelling people, but you got to bring it back. You want to serve more people, reach more people, bring that passion back. And again, it doesn't have to be the enemy, you know, who are you fighting against? It can be, it breaks my heart. It makes me so sad
exactly.
when I know
Exactly.
there's another way for people to be. And the reason I know that is I used to be that way. I didn't know I could take responsibility for my life. I thought I had to take what was given to me or handed to me.
Right.
So anyway, I'm grateful, Trish, for our chance to have this conversation.
My pleasure. And I hope that, you know, we made, it at least made you think. That was the idea, is to make you think, because nothing attracts people more than enthusiasm. And the enthusiasm that comes from you sharing your passion in a way that people can hear it. That's key. That's what we were saying with Sherry. You have to do it in a way that people can hear it. And it's messaging is one of the main subjects we talk about at Women's Prosperity Network. So be a part of this amazing community. And as you do, you grow and you learn. Every month we have opportunities for us to come together, to learn from each other, and to support each other and to make the difference that we want to make. So the next step is the message. So stick around, and we will be here always talking about the message as well. Make sure you go to womensprosperityNetwork.com. If you're not already a free member, go ahead and become a free member right now. There's lots of good little perks for you. And then we're going to let you know, obviously, about jumping in the pond. Like Deb said, she said, I've been lurking for 8 years. And as soon as I said, you know what, I'm going to be a monthly member, her life changed. Mm-hmm. So I'm inviting you to change your life in the way that is not even in your vision now about what can happen for you when you become a part of this amazing, generous, supportive community. So go to womensprosperityNetwork.com. Those of you who are already members, just log in, click on referrals, and the link is there, easy to do, and you'll win stuff. And Futures Without Violence will make a difference with the donation and the funding that you will give them. So I appreciate every single one of you.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Appreciate you, Trish. And I'm curious, who's going to win that elite mastermind retreat?
No, but it's
winning the retreat. Go ahead and tell me. Put it in the chat. Put it on the Facebook. Are you going to win the elite retreat? You know you can. And you know you want to. Christina's like, me. Yes. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, Wow
Wednesday.
Bye, everybody. Have a
Bye.